Here with us now, a former Republican representative from Oklahoma and chairman of the J.C. Watts Companies, former Congressman J.C. Watts. It's very nice to see you again, sir.
Mika, thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me on.
I want to show you a poll here and get your sense on what you think the Republicans are doing here. It's the second one, Chris. NBC News poll, 62% disapprove of the GOP's handling on health care. Do you think the Republicans are perhaps letting a good opportunity go by the wayside here, given the way the other side has been handling this debate?
Well, I think you surely can't. I think in this discussion with the American people understanding that you do need reform, that the system has some flaws in spite of it being the best in the world, Republicans can't get in the situation that Democrats got themselves into with the Bush administration and saying that we're against his plan, but we have no plan of our own. And I think, right now it's kind of an opposition position, but I do think that there's room for improvement in the system, and I think we have to be more forceful, I think, in telling what our plan would be or what the Republican plan would be in terms of moving us forward. I do think the administration deserves some credit in some of the things that they have done to this point. I think they've got a lot of flaws in their legislation, but in terms of getting pharma to come to the table with savings over the next 10 years, I think that's a good thing. And I think the fact that they took it on in spite of there being flaws in their policies, I think the fact that they're taking it on is a good thing. This debate needs to happen.
At the same time, it seems like they haven't got a clear message or a voice. As you said, they didn't come back strong enough with a plan that counters the Democrat plans, and yet it seems, John Ridley, that the White House and the Democrats are not in sync, and that there would have been an opportunity here really to fight back in a more elegant way.
Well, yeah, I would ask this of the former congressman. It seems like a lot of what's being said, it is going to places of anger, and it is going to places where it's not about discussion. And in particular for the Republicans, when it becomes about outreach, you look at how the Sotomayor situation was handled. Where do you find that outreach? And one thing I think is interesting, you talk about the link between Republicanism and football. Talk about that a little bit, and is there an opportunity to use that to recruit people of color into the Republican Party?
Well, I continue to be disappointed in terms of what the party establishment does in terms of trying to grow the party with those non-traditional constituencies. Jack Kemp was a voice in the wilderness, bless his heart, and back in the early 90s when I got involved in politics, we kind of joined up, and there are many of us. I think Chairman Steele, I think he has made it a part of his agenda at the RNC, but the fact is we have done very poorly with those constituencies, and there's just a lack of trust. I think when you consider the black vote, the Hispanic vote, when it comes to the Republican establishment, they agree with a lot of the issues that they talk about, but they say, don't think we'd want to go to a football game with those guys.
Yeah,
JC. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of attracting those non-traditional constituencies.
And doesn't it hurt the cause, JC? Joe Scarborough here, good to see you again.
Hey, Joseph.
Doesn't it hurt the cause when a nominee like Sotomayor comes out, the first Hispanic nominee to the Supreme Court, and Republicans decide for the first time in 40 or 50 years that they're going to actively oppose a nominee? It seems like they may have picked the wrong nominee to start with if they want to have that kind of outreach, right?
Well, Joe, you're right. It doesn't hurt when you consider Sotomayor and her confirmation process. However, I would hope in that case or in circumstances like that there would be consistency. I think obviously Republicans will take a beating on her confirmation, but at the same time, I think we should also be as outraged when Miguel Estrada has to go through what he goes through when he doesn't get confirmed.
Well, sure.
When a Janet Brown goes through what she goes through, and she didn't get confirmed, and so I think there's an equal there's an argument
JC,
there that could be made on both the Republican and the Democrat side when it comes to ethnic minority candidates.
Yeah, well, JC, there's no doubt about it that Democrats on the Judiciary Committee in the United States Senate did everything they could to block conservative justices if they were black or Hispanic. But the difference between Democrats and Republicans is Democrats already have overwhelming those voting blocks in an overwhelming way. I think we have to be smarter, and sometimes I wonder whether we are ever going to figure out how to walk through that minefield.
Well, Joe, let me point to some other areas. Look at diversity in staff, and I don't say you should have black staffers on Republican committees and the RNC and Senatorial Committee and so forth, the NRCC. I don't say you should have black staffers just for the sake of having black staffers, but when you say we can't find anybody that qualifies, we don't have as many black staffers as we do others, I mean, that just doesn't wash with me. I think we've got to do a better job. I'm not looking for a party that looks like me. I'm looking for a party that looks like America. And there's a way that you can objectively and genuinely and honestly do that without, creating quotas and all the other arguments that people try and use.
Yeah, and so what exactly was the link between football and Republicanism?
Well, that one, it's too early in the morning. That one went over my head, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, hold on a second. Hey, Chris, wait, let me bring Chris Licht in here.
Chris, give me another shot. Ask that question again.
Chris Licht, you have been talking in my ear for 10 damn minutes to ask JC what the link is, and I had to ask him what the link is between Republicanism and football.
You got a lot.
I'm going to take responsibility for this. I apologize.
JC, I don't know what the link is, and that's what we've been teasing all morning. Did anybody on your staff tell us that we needed to ask the question about the link between Republicanism and football, JC? Is there a link between Republicanism and football? Look, JC, they even got a graphic. Sam Weiss is thinking about running, for God's sake. That proves that
Swan you got in there, he ran?
Arjun, he's there.
Yeah.
Okay. JC,
that's just poor producing.
This is just poor producing, JC. I apologize for my executive producer. So, JC, when are you getting back into politics, brother?
Joe, I'm having a good time making memories with grandkids. So.
Most important question quickly. Brett Favre coming back, good or bad?
Stop it.
Yeah, I'm just going to let it unfold and see what happens.
That's a true politician.
Brett's worn us all out.
He is still a politician.
That's a true
All right. Hey, JC, it's always great talking to you.
Thanks for having me on, James.
Boy, that was a runaway beer truck,
Yes,
Chris Webb.
correct.
What the hell was that about?
You notice I just didn't flinch. Chris
Well, I handed it to you because you asked me, didn't answer. Then Chris goes, you got to ask the question about the link between
don't ask it if you don't feel it. Okay?
I didn't feel it.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
feel it.
shouldn't have done it.
You know, I'm an artist. I didn't feel it.
You shouldn't have done it.